I'm Bill.
And I'm Candace.
And we're the Disruptors.
Yay! This is a great day.
Somebody throw you a fish? What's up? You're
well,
applauding.
I do like fish. I wasn't applauding at you.
I knew that.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you want to start over again? Anyway.
I don't.
Hey, we got a great show today.
We do. We have one of my faves coming back to us so we can harass him really, really good.
You think the first time through he'd know not to, pick up your phone call and
I was
talk.
told not to come.
Yeah.
Find the people.
I would like to introduce Janson Helringer of Supporting Strategies. Absolutely love him, love his company, impacting our businesses through great, great accounting, having
good accounting support, right? Having financial visibility in your company.
I like that. That was yummy. So talk to me about... And Bill is laughing because obviously he doesn't...
I'm thinking about the Oscar Mayer truck when you said yummy. Hot dogs, lunch,
We forgot to feed him lunch.
Yeah, see?
Well,
okay.
Too bad. He kept flapping his lips.
That's true.
So,
And you forgot to talk about the producer in the Bubble Tower. You didn't introduce him.
I didn't think
I think you just did.
I think I just did.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Chris, a little more energy. Where's the energy?
Yeah, where's the energy?
You want a drink?
Dig deep.
I'm good.
Good.
Dig deep, make the devil weep.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Rolling on with this part of the show. Here we go.
So, talk to us, Janson, a little bit about finances. Wait a minute. I'm going to preface this just for a second, if I can.
Please.
Because one of my more challenging conversations with clients is when we start talking about money. And I know, shocking, and I often we need to come up with that financial strategy. And when you start talking about money, there's a weird story. Everybody has one. And so is that a challenge for you talking to folks? What do you find with people and business owners?
I don't find talking about money being difficult.
Okay.
Because I think at that point in time, if I'm sitting down in front of somebody, that means that there's a need.
You bet.
And there's a pain.
Oh, it's the pain
There's
factor.
a pain.
So they've come to you because of pain.
Right.
Oh, the financial doctor.
It's the financial doctor, right. So really,
I like that.
I mean, me coming in the front door, there's already a sense of, okay, this individual, because of, I'm the accountant, right? I'm the accounting support that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to look at their books. Does it necessarily, is there any questions about how much money they're making? I've never sensed that from an owner, actually. Wow. But what I do find amazing is it usually takes an event for me to get the opportunity.
Wonderful. And
in most cases, and I'll just say this, probably 50% of my clients have had some sort of an embezzlement.
Oh, that's just kind of heartbreaking, really.
It truly is. I know, being in corporate America for the 20 years that I have, I saw a little here and there, but a lot of controls, a lot of processes. But when you go to a small business, it's rampant.
Wow.
For lack of better words.
Mm-hmm.
So again, is it somebody embezzling, something's been found, or someone's leaving? So there's this urgency of, my gosh, how are my bills going to get paid? How am I going to bill my clients? I need financials. How am I going to pay my employees? So there's that kind of need, I just need something better.
Sure.
So they're open to that. So that it's funny how that conversation of, I don't ever come in and go, so how much money are you making?
I'm not sure.
The bookkeeper just left.
Exactly. So I really find that a lot of the owners that I talk to, they are fantastic at their craft.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a business owner myself, I have the utmost respect for every business owner because it is a rare breed.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It is an absolute rare breed, and because they have a special gift and a special craft, and that's the line of business that they're in, and obviously they're somewhat successful at it because they've built a fantastic business. So what I usually find is that the finance side of it, the accounting, the functionality, the operational piece, they don't like that.
Do you feel, is it because like numbers tell a story?
That's a great point. I think for us numeric minded people or individuals, numbers do tell a story. However, in a lot of other people, that doesn't tell the story.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, is there constant clients coming in? Is my bank account full?
Yeah.
Are employees sticking around? Am I continuing to grow my business? I think that's more the story for them.
So what are the things that people just don't want to, that they just want to ignore? They want to, hide it in the financial closet, and hope that the little Keebler elves take care of that. That's why they have to call you. So,
anything to do with numbers, especially when you talk about simple inflow, let's say the outflow of money, right?
Right.
So there's a process that happens to make that happen. So how do you take an invoice from a vendor and code it appropriately so it makes sense in an income statement?
Sure.
So I can look at my cost of goods sold. Or how do you process gathering my employees' time and then somehow putting that in the system and it spits out something and we're paying, withholding taxes and social L&I and all these.
What's that?
How does that work? And then, okay, so how does that ultimately get in my financial statements? Okay, so
right.
So really that whole process of how we do that, I think that a lot of business owners, and I'm being in general,
Absolutely.
business owners just like, I don't know how you get it done. I could say, I don't care. I don't give a how you do it.
Right.
I just want, this is what I want. And this is the numbers I want to see. And these are the financial statements I want to see. And they don't really care how you do it, as long as you're efficient and it's accurate.
Sure.
And timely.
So we're not talking about you, Bill, right now.
Oh.
So
Accurate and timely. That was off the table.
that was it.
That's gone. That's gone. Yeah. No, not accurate at all. No.
So
very timely though.
If they come into what I guess I want to ask you next, Jason, is what elements do you find are the top 3 or the top 5, whatever the number is, for a business to really understand, and the importance of having someone like yourself at the helm of that?
Trust. I think number 1, clean numbers and trust that they're getting done correctly. But on a larger scale, that value that we bring to them is definitely financial visibility. I think is a huge one, especially when people are in the red.
Yes.
And it's now, how do we get healthier, right? It's like
Right.
going into a doctor and saying, gosh, my knee really hurts. And the doctor just looking at you, not asking a single question, and said, okay, we'll give you some Advil.
Yeah.
Or I got this pain on my side.
Yeah, it's where my
Okay.
wallet was.
Well, I don't know. Not asking you a single question, right?
Sure.
Not really diagnosing that. That's really what we do is when we walk in, right? We walk in and they say, you know what, my pain point is there's red on the bottom line. Okay. So now let's start asking questions. Let's start now going back to the fundamentals, the fundamentals of accounting. Let's start looking at it and ripping apart. What's your gross margin? How are you pricing? You talk about, where's your spend? Where's your overhead? What's your cost for bringing in new clients? That type of numbers and really solid help. Those numbers that help you make good business decisions.
You bet.
All come from where?
From your books.
From your books.
Yeah.
And if your books aren't accurate,
Then you can't make a decision. Did it work?
so how do you do it? How do you do it? I mean, time and time again, there's 3 clients I brought on in the last a month. Good sized clients. I mean, these guys are doing over $1 million up to $9 million a year, and their balance sheets are completely inaccurate. Completely inaccurate. I mean, if you showed that to a banker,
It's not going to work.
it's not gonna. It's not gonna. And I'm boring everyone with accounting talk, but again, it's just amazing for me and where I've been in my past and the businesses I've been into. that a lot of quote unquote bookkeepers. So you have a processor. I like to say even a bookkeeper is almost a processor. There's processing, getting your bills paid, maybe paying your employees, billing clients, recording receivables in the books. However, they don't even know what a balance sheet is. And so there's no maintenance there in having a good solid close. And that's the value of what we bring in there, and we be that advocate for that business owner. It's like, okay, so what do you want to see?
Right.
What are those KPIs that you want to meet with that's going to help you grow your business?
Well, one of the things
Did
that
I answer even your question?
No, you did.
Okay.
You did. One of the things that we often will sit down, and I mean, I just did this last week, was sitting down and talking with a client, about how do you mark your product up. I like to see, of course, a 70% margin, because 70% when you're selling a product means I can pay people, I have money, I have expendable income to grow the company, and of course that takes cutting out sometimes the middleman. If you can, wink wink, if you can manufacture it, then you're not going to reduce your profitability by 30%. Or even 50% in some cases. Worked on other options like private labeling, and which increases, your margin just went. It took me a while to get, because it's just a process, right? Well, I don't know if I want to do private labeling, but since we're talking about numbers, all of this stuff affects that bottom line. Well, if I can private label and literally make 200% or even 150% on my markup to be competitive, hello, why would you not? So that way, when you have other products and you sell and you can only mark them up, let's say 30%, on average, you're still hitting that 70%, which, I like that, because then I've got marketing money, I've got money to pay you, I've got money to pay other options that are sitting at the table. And one of the ways that we like to just discuss it, and that is money only, your numbers only bring options. And so, it's not about really, yes, we want to make money, yes, we want to be profitable, but if you're making no money, your options just died. And now you've got to compensate somewhere else. And if you are making money, now you have a Rolodex of options, and you can actually pull the trigger on strategies and different things. So I think that your piece and what you do, Jason, is so important. And I know sometimes people don't want to talk about it. Know your numbers. Okay. As you're snoring in the door, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
We know that, but if you understood the value of actually knowing your numbers, it's just like motivational speakers, right? So because I often tie this into finances, if you understood your numbers, you can actually create your dream, and you wouldn't need a motivational speaker, because you'd be so excited about what your numbers are telling you that you'd be like, I can do this. Yes. And so having that ability to take a look at all of those different things is really, really powerful. And so, Bill, what about you? You've been very quiet. So
of course, you've done such a wonderful job over the time.
We're talking about numbers.
But, yeah.
yeah, I got to poke the bear over here.
You got to wake him up there, numbers, It's interesting to me that small business doesn't grab the concept of how important it is to have the numbers right. Let me ask you a question. If you've been in the industry for years, if we were to give you a magic wand, what in your industry would you like to see changed for the different businesses, to get a kind of a universal platform to work on of understanding and education?
As for process, or are we talking more on, I guess you said education?
Yeah, education. Well, trying to get these smaller businesses and medium-sized to understand what a balance sheet or what is going on